Hi. Good day, guys. My name is Dr. Yokwe from Click Care. Question today: what does stress mean for you? Panicking, not sure what you want to do, and having a pressure for something that you need to complete? I'm going to take it from a different angle. I'm proposing that stress is any time where you are uncomfortable and you need to use your survival to get to the outcome that you want to hit. And oftentimes, what happens during those times is your operational system part of the mind jumps in front of you and locates any decision it wants to bring, and it puts it in front of you, whether you like that decision or you don't. So each time you're in a survival space, think about the tiger. If a tiger was in your yard, tiger coming in here, what do? Do you go into, oh, this is a tiger. What does it do? It can kill me. Oh, what is the next thing? There's no time for that. So your mind gets into a survival. And what it does, it gets whatever situation of decisions that it knows about. You don't have to think about it. The operational part of the mind that is not clever makes that decision for you. And it is only when you get back to your normal senses that you see, oh, I just flew inside the mirror. Not the mirror. I flew inside the window instead of using the door that was already open. So then, essentially, what we're finding from this discussion is that fight, flight, freeze mode or stress essentially takes away your prefrontal cortex thinking. You're thinking of logic. You're thinking of high intellect away. So essentially, you zone out, and you just use your flight, fight, freeze systems in your mind. So the consciousness is out, and that's what happens when you are angry. So you would get an experience. Someone, a very stupid example. But that's what happens every day. Someone raises this finger in front of you, comes to your face, raises a finger, and you zone out. You get to the person, you hold them, and then you give them a punch on the nose. And then later on you say, oh, what did I do? So essentially what I'm bringing across for you is to understand that the consciousness or the high intellect of yourself moves away. Now, how does it feel? How does it feel to think of all of those states, anxiety, anger, depressive states? How does it feel to think of them as, oh wow, so my mind just went away throughout? That's what happens through most of our days. If we are at work and we know our work, we've done it for 30 years. What then happens is our mind goes into what is familiar. It's not going to generate any new neural pathways to help you go through what you already know already. So the mind just goes on into something that's familiar, and that's the trick. The mind goes into a reserve that you make, or the files, or that's why you go into a programming kind of a space, and you are no longer happy or excited about the work that you're doing. All of us, studies go into as 85% of the people, the work they do is not the typical type of work that they would have enjoyed. We are told when we're young, they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we go, I need to be a policeman. I need to be a lawyer. I need to be a whatever. So you've got circles and limitations already. But now, how your mind is trained is that it takes all of the information that you take, and then it will limit you, because you are not talking about any end goals for what you want to achieve in life. Essentially, you are not talking about your dream, because the question would have been, what is your dream? What do you dream about? And you would have said, I want to talk in front of people. I want to move people. I want to have conviction when I speak something, so that it makes a change in the people and in what they feel. That would be terrific. Then your mind, all of a sudden, would have been in a free mode to suggest for you that end goal. So it is in a free role to then put on synchronities and also the coincidences that put you towards your end goal. So perhaps what we are teaching today is the fact that we focus on the means goal, the means to getting to what we want to get, and not looking at the bigger spectrum, which, by the way, the mind is at free mode and it loves it to think about imagination. That's how we are supposed to be seeing our end goals. Have the imagination and don't worry about the how part. And certainly that's not how we're trained. So how we're trained is to think about the hard situations. There's an example a gentleman called Vishen Lakiani makes when he talks about transformation, personal transformation to the people that he teaches in different careers and in different tasks, which are high, intelligence type of tasks. And he was met by a lady who says, "But Vishen, in my type of work, how can I improve my typing ability? How can I improve the rate with which I type?" And he says, "Oh, here you can actually achieve anything with the program that I'm giving. But why are you interested in typing faster?" Then the lady says, "Because when I type fast in my work area, I can earn more. I can produce more documents, and therefore I can have much more returns." And okay, when you get the returns, what do you want to do? She says, "Then I can have much more money." Oh, okay, when you get the much more money or salary, what then do you want to achieve with that? And the lady says, "Then I can." Then they say their dream. I can have all my sisters coming and stay with me, and I can build A, B, and C. I can have a beautiful time, and I would not have to go to work when I don't want to go to work. Then that's the end goal. That's what you need to be working towards, than just merely limiting yourself to saying, "I want to improve in what I'm doing, type fast, and then get to my dream." So we have killed that aspect which is very important in our lives, which is imagination. And by the way, that's one of the most fundamental and very, very amazing aspects and qualities of the human mind. Remember when you were children, the child used to have an imaginary friend, and with the imaginary friend the child would go and play, and they would instruct the imaginary friend on what to do. They will tell them, "Listen, I am the one who is authority here. I'm your mother. Okay? You come and report to me." You look at the child and you see the determination. You see how this child is taking confidence. But once imagination in our lives, that's the thing that we do, at some stage, we stop having that imagination. So there was initially a discussion with the mind that the child had, or a dialogue with the mind. But then as we grow, we stop having those dialogues with the mind. Then something else comes in. And this is the language of anxiety, the language of depression, the language of the beliefs that society gives to us that says, "You are not enough. You can't do this job. You're not the right person for the job." And those are the negative thoughts that we talk about and which we understand so well. And that's the new discussion in the mind that sits with everybody the whole time, that sends us into fight, flight, freeze, into pressures, into us not coping well in our situations and circumstances, and even in the workspace. Now, today, it is important to understand that we are able to get into a mode where we can discuss again with our minds. And one other important thing is the fact that with the beliefs we make, or with the thought system we make, or the quality of thought that we make, we are able to drive towards an action that we want to have. And that's very vital, because then, for an example, this finger, what meaning do you have about the finger that will make you take out a gun and shoot at the person in road rage, right? So I'm suggesting that in the systems that we have, starting from the beliefs that we make, there comes then the thoughts that we are able to dispense from the belief system we have. It's the thoughts then that they lead to the emotions we have, and they lead to the actions we take, and ultimately the responses and the reactions, or the results that we have. But when someone comes to you and they lift the finger like this, we zone out. We go straight into the, what we studied about. We go straight into the autopilot, and the autopilot already has got a survival mode that we need to do, right? So essentially, we get the experience and we jump straight into the emotion because we already have it. I am suggesting today that the one part that we skip, which is the thought part, making a meaning. What is the meaning you get about what you get? And in fact, it is the meaning that we have that determines the emotions we're going to have about a particular experience. Because that, frankly, is a finger. But someone gave us a meaning to say, screw you. What does that even mean? Screw. Or another word, what does that word, the F word, mean for you? So essentially, the change process needs to come between the belief system and all of that, then changes a neurophysiological nomenclature and thought ideation towards the actions that we're going to be taking. So I believe the understanding the belief system and the thought cascade and the meaning essentially that we put can help us and shape us to have rather better outcomes in the things that we're doing. And there's many examples that I need to get to, but then as we go into the other videos, we're going to be looking into them. And thanks so much for now.